You know, there's a new type of comedy at the moment called woke comedy, right? No, it's very progressive, and I tried to watch a bit of it, and I decided I'd rather watch Louis C.K. masturbate.
One clip that somebody put on the internet about him saying, don't virtue signal, just come out here and get your little prize, go because nobody cares about your opinion. I was like, thank you.
Ricky Gervais just brutally took down woke celebrities. In a world where a single misstep can lead to immediate cancellation, Ricky Gervais stands out as the unexpected hero we didn't know we needed. As public figures increasingly tiptoe around sensitive issues to avoid offense, Gervais remains a breath of fresh air. His comedy is like a surgeon's precision, cutting through the web of political correctness with sharp, sarcastic wit. Instead of avoiding controversial topics, he tackles them head-on with humor as his weapon. Each of his bold quips and daring jokes challenges the excesses of woke culture, revealing its absurdities and inconsistencies. Gervais's fearless critiques resonate with those feeling stifled by today's hypersensitivity and serve as a powerful reminder of comedy's role in pushing boundaries and questioning societal norms. He doesn't just make us laugh at the absurd, he dissects it, showcasing how humor can pierce through self-righteous indignation and offer a clearer perspective. By capturing the spirit of a generation frustrated with constant pressure to conform, Gervais transforms societal issues into comedic material that entertains, provokes thought, and sparks dialogue. Get ready for a front-row seat as Ricky Gervais takes on woke culture, all while having a laugh and rewriting the rules of cultural commentary.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? It's... offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that, but, you know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing, you know, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room, I'm doing it for the 200 million people.
Let's start with a dose of reality from Ricky Gervais. Just because something offends you doesn't mean you get to silence the conversation. Gervais anchors his comedic approach on this very principle, comparing offense to Aunt Carol's notorious tuna casserole. Some people love it, others can't stand it, and a few might even be allergic. This analogy highlights how subjective offense is and emphasizes a crucial point. Accommodating everyone's sensitivities can stifle free expression. If we begin banning everything that might upset someone, we end up with a bland, unremarkable landscape where even debates are reduced to cat videos. And, who knows, those could offend dog lovers too. Gervais argues that such overreach restricts creative freedom and undermines genuine dialogue. Allowing offense to dictate what's acceptable results in a cultural environment where only the safest, least provocative topics are covered, leading to a lack of meaningful engagement and intellectual challenge. Ricky's message is clear. Amidst a society that swings between outrage and excessive caution, we need to resist the urge to silence dissent. Balancing humor and social commentary involves recognizing diverse viewpoints without succumbing to the demands of the easily offended. Ricky Gervais doesn't just test the boundaries of humor. He pole vaults over them with a mischievous grin, unafraid to defy the norms. For Gervais, the concept of apologizing isn't part of his lexicon. He stands by the idea that if you're going to deliver a joke, it should be impactful. This bold stance contrasts sharply with the demands of woke culture, which often requires comedians to tread carefully, avoiding any material that might offend. In Gervais' view, this pressure to tiptoe around sensitive topics threatens the core of comedy, which thrives on pushing boundaries and tackling uncomfortable truths. Gervais embraces the provocative and controversial sides of human experience instead of shying away from them. He believes that humor should challenge societal norms and question accepted conventions, not simply avoid offense like sneaking out of a bad date. This approach reflects his belief that comedy should stimulate thought and laughter, even if it upsets a few people along the way. By rejecting the idea that comedians must self-censor to prevent offending anyone, Gervais highlights his conviction that real comedy can provoke, entertain, and enlighten. His fearless style underscores that the essence of great humor lies in pushing limits and engaging with the complexities of contemporary life, rather than avoiding controversy just for safety's sake.
I've reached the age now where I don't care anymore. It's a sin. To joke about all the bad things, that's a waste, because that's exactly what we should joke about.
Yeah. Say that, you've got to say you don't find them funny, you know? And I hate it when people say, that joke was offensive. I gotta say, no, you've got to say you found it offensive, because it's all about feelings, and feelings are personal. And there's loads of types of comedy, and comedy evolves, you know? There's a new type of comedy at the moment called woke comedy, right? No, it's very progressive, you know. There are some clubs now where the comedian has to sign a thing saying he won't say anything contentious or he won't say anything that could offend anyone. It's a safe space for the audience. Woke comedy. And I tried to watch a bit of it, and I decided I'd rather watch Louis C.K. masturbate. Can't mention him anymore. He's cancelled.
Ricky Gervais has taken the plunge into the world of woke comedy, so you don't have to, navigating its pitfalls with fearless abandon. Picture it like attending a buffet, where every dish is bland and gluten-free, uninspiring and devoid of flavor. For Gervais, comedy should have a bite, something that makes you think and laugh, even if it pushes the limits. It's about delivering sharp punchlines that provoke and challenge, not about softening the impact with preemptive apologies. Woke comedy, in contrast, often feels like a joke that apologizes before it even lands. This style tends to avoid any content that might offend, sacrificing the punch and edge that make humor compelling. Gervais finds this approach lackluster, missing the boldness and irreverence that make comedy exciting. He prefers comedians like Louis C.K., known for their willingness to push boundaries and deliver raw, unfiltered humor. C.K.'s approach, with its fearless tackle of controversial topics and commitment to authentic comedy, embodies the kind of humor Gervais admires. One that keeps challenging and entertaining rather than retreating from potential offense.
Oh, women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh. Those fucking dinosaurs. No, I love the new women. I know the new women. They're great, aren't they? You know, the new ones we've been seeing lately. The ones with beards and cocks. They're as good as gold. I love them. No, it's the old-fashioned with it. And now the old-fashioned, they go like, oh, they want to use our toilets. Why shouldn't they use your toilets? For ladies. They are ladies. Look at their pronouns. What about this person isn't a lady? Well, his penis. Her penis, you fucking bigot. What if he rapes me? What if she rapes you? You fucking turf whore.
Ricky Gervais plunges straight into the gender debate with no reservations, and he's certainly not treading lightly. His skill at highlighting the absurdities that woke culture tries to normalize is unparalleled. It's as if he's tackling the ridiculous notion that a square peg should fit a round hole. No matter how much you force it, it just won't work. Gervais boldly exposes the inconsistencies and contradictions within some of the prominent woke arguments. His approach is refreshingly blunt, and while some might find his humor harsh, it's this very bluntness that reveals the underlying truths. Ricky's comedy acts as a mirror, reflecting the often jarring realities of ideological stances. His unflinching honesty, combined with humor, not only entertains, but also prompts the audience to face uncomfortable truths with a laugh. even the most controversial topics can be tackled with comedy, proving that sometimes a dose of humor is the best way to confront absurdities.
Guys, Ricky G here, wellness and beauty influencer. As a celebrity, I know all about stuff, like science and politics. So trust me when I tell you who you should vote for. If you don't vote the right way, it's like a hate crime. It makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country. You don't want that.
Influencers, Ricky Gervais's take on them, is a refreshing dose of reality, laced with his signature sarcasm. The idea that someone promoting detox teas and hair gummies on Instagram should serve as our moral guide is as absurd as it sounds. Gervais cleverly mocks the bizarre reality where the person with the most followers and sponsored posts is seen as a life advisor. His commentary starkly contrasts the shallow influencer culture with the depth needed for real societal discussions. It's almost comical how these social media personalities, whose expertise often lies in selling the latest beauty trend or diet fad, are treated as if they hold profound insights. Ricky's humor incisively exposes the joke that the more followers someone has, the more their opinions are valued, regardless of their actual relevance. And the melodramatic threats to leave the country if they don't get their way? Gervais' response is simple. There's the door. This remark highlights his unfiltered take on these exaggerated reactions, suggesting, if you're so unhappy, don't let it hit you on the way out. Ricky's satire effectively underlines the absurdity of overvaluing influencer opinions, reminding us to view their proclamations with a healthy dose of skepticism.
As it was, I didn't have to worry about offending anyone because it just happens, so. And the big controversy last time I did it was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offense. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke, you make your own minds up, right? So, it's live, so they go, and now your host for the 68th Annual Golden Globe Awards, please welcome Ricky Gervais. They go, and they're all clapping, all the actors are looking up, smiling at me nervously. It's brilliant, right? So I just go, relax, I'm going to be nice tonight. I've changed. Not as much as Bruce Jenner, obviously. And I go, now Caitlyn Jenner, of course, and what a year she's had, became a role model for trans people everywhere, bravely breaking down barriers and destroying stereotypes. She didn't do a lot for women drivers, so that's a clever joke, and I'll tell you why, right? It's layered. No, listen, right? The subject of that joke is stereotypes. I'm playing with the notion of stereotypes, right? So I start off saying she's a real woman. Some would say a liberal, progressive attitude. Then I go, oh, if she's a real woman, I hit them with the old-fashioned reactionary stereotype. She must be a bad driver then, right? And the target of the joke is a celebrity killing someone in their car. Let's not forget that, shall we? A celebrity killing someone in their car, running home and popping on a dress. That's the target of the joke, just so we're clear, okay? She was interviewed about a week later at some press conference for a show she was launching, now cancelled. And the press were around and one of them said, what do you think of the Ricky Gervais joke? And she went, maybe I should host the Golden Globes, right? And they tweeted that, and they atted me in, because they want a celebrity feud, you know? It was clickbait, so I rose to the bait, obviously. I just sent back, let her host, just don't let her drive. Another website that was in the room, Entertainment Weekly, they tweeted a different headline, and they atted me in as well. And their headline was, Caitlyn finally breaks silence over Ricky Gervais. I just sent back, at last. She always breaks too late. Bring it on. Bring it on. But I'm a considered comedian. I like my jokes to be accurate and my targets to be fair. So I was engaging these people. I was saying, why is it transphobic? And they were saying, it's about a trans person. I said, well, that's ridiculous. That's like saying a joke about Bill Cosby is automatically racist. It depends on the joke. But I was talking to them, I'm willing to learn, and I found out my crime was that I dead named her. Now, I'd never heard that term, before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old name, and even acknowledging that she used to be a man. But she did. I saw him on the Olympic Games. It was decathlete. It was in everything. He was all over the place. Shot put and pole vault. He won a medal. He was famous. He was on telly all the time. But, a big, famous man with a huge, I don't know, but I mean, I'm guessing he's a big, but I've learned my lesson. Now, I'd never dead name her now. Now I know it's wrong. I'd never dead name her now. But, like, years ago, when, she was a man.
This is classic Ricky, flipping controversy on its head with irreverence. His Caitlyn Jenner joke wasn't about Jenner's gender, but a sharp critique of celebrity culture's absurdities. In an industry where fame often overshadows reason, Ricky exposes the hypocrisy that allows celebrities to evade accountability and still be hailed as heroes. Ricky's satire forces us to face the harsh reality that actions have consequences, no matter who you are or what you identify as. He challenges the idea that celebrity status should shield one from scrutiny, asserting that public figures should be held to the same standards as everyone else. He also takes aim at corporate double standards with biting humor. Companies that preach human dignity while exploiting workers for cheap labor get no mercy from Ricky. It's like watching a magician reveal his tricks, exposing the smoke and mirrors of corporate virtue signaling. Ricky's not just critiquing. He's unmasking the hypocrisy behind so-called moral high grounds, showing that these ideals are often built on shaky, self-serving foundations.
Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So, 5th time. So, we were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. No. It was mostly white people. And I thought, nah, not on my watch. So, maybe next year. Let's see what happens.
Ricky has a talent for turning woke culture's obsessions into punchlines that land with the force of a sledgehammer. Diversity matters, of course, but when it starts being applied to topics like death, things have gone off the rails. Ricky's humor in this instance acts as a brisk wake-up call, both invigorating and a bit jarring. He's making it clear that not everything needs to fit into a diversity framework. Sometimes a joke is simply meant to be taken as a joke.
Weinstein year?
Oh, I was salivating. Honestly, I got an adrenaline rush thinking of, what I could say and whether I'd have to go to jail. And I like that opportunity because I do like that, when there's a tension, when there's an elephant in the room, although he wasn't there this year. I do like that because I do like confronting that because I think it takes the audience to a place it hasn't been before. And it can be a mutual backslapping, fest, fine, but don't televise it, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires.
Ricky doesn't just provoke controversy. He dives right in, daring to challenge and mock the prevailing norms. And let's face it, we admire him for it. He's not trying to appease Hollywood's elite. Instead, he's speaking directly to those of us weary of being dictated on what to think, say, or laugh at. Ricky embraces the risks because he understands that even when wrapped in humor, the truth remains the truth, and making a few uncomfortable is part of the fun. Ricky takes identity politics to an extreme, humorously suggesting species realignment as a wild, outrageous example. It's a sharp critique of the absurdity within woke culture, showing us the ridiculousness through a comedic lens. In a time when free speech is under siege, Ricky Gervais is the unexpected hero we didn't realize we needed. He's not only making us laugh, but also making us think. If this video struck a nerve, well, that's kind of the point. Thanks for watching. And remember, the truth may not always be comfortable, but it's always hilarious. Don't forget to subscribe and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep the dialogue going.